In the remote village of Crestwood, nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, lived Rachel Anderson, an investigative journalist yearning for a break from the fast-paced urban grind. She sought solace in a centuries-old cottage, its time-worn exterior blending seamlessly with the lush greenery that surrounded it. Little did she suspect that the tranquility she sought would soon give way to a chilling tale woven into the very fabric of the village. One mist-laden morning, Rachel stumbled upon an old leather-bound diary tucked away in the cottage's attic. The diary belonged to Eleanor Thornton, a woman who had lived in Crestwood during the 18th century. Its pages, filled with faded ink, detailed Eleanor's descent into paranoia and the unnerving encounters with spectral entities she believed were haunting her every waking moment. As Rachel delved into the diary, the air around her seemed to thicken, carrying the whispers of a tragic history that refused to be forgotten. Eleanor's words painted a vivid picture of a village gripped by superstitions and a pervasive fear that clung to the landscape like an invisible shroud. Night after night, Rachel found herself enveloped in an otherworldly hush that blanketed Crestwood. Shadows played tricks on the edges of her vision, and the wind whispered secrets that sent a chill down her spine. The village, once serene, now seemed to harbor an undercurrent of sorrow, as if the spirits of the past were yearning to share their untold stories. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Rachel delved into Crestwood's history, uncovering long-buried secrets that intertwined with Eleanor's haunting tale. The village, in the throes of an era marked by suspicion and hysteria, had witnessed a series of mysterious disappearances and unexplained deaths. Eleanor's diary hinted at a malevolent force, a spectral presence that fed on the fear coursing through the village like a toxic undercurrent. As Rachel traversed the cobblestone streets and spoke to the descendants of Crestwood's original families, she unearthed a dark chapter involving an accused witch named Agnes Hale. The villagers, gripped by paranoia, had condemned Agnes, leading to her execution on the outskirts of the village. It was said that her vengeful spirit lingered, bound to Crestwood by the injustice inflicted upon her. The more Rachel uncovered, the more the village seemed to resist her presence. Shadows congealed into unsettling shapes, and the wind carried with it a cacophony of disembodied whispers. The once inviting cottage now groaned with the weight of the unseen, as if the very walls held onto the echoes of a tragic past. In her relentless pursuit of the truth, Rachel discovered a long-forgotten ritual, detailed in Eleanor's diary, that was believed to appease the vengeful spirits. As she stood on the outskirts of Crestwood, near the forgotten graves of those accused during the Dark Era, Rachel initiated the ritual with a mix of trepidation and determination. The air hummed with an otherworldly energy as Rachel invoked the incantations, her words a fragile bridge between the living and the dead. In the stillness that followed, the village seemed to hold its breath, and the shadows retreated to the corners, revealing the moonlit landscape in its haunting beauty. Then, as if the very fabric of time trembled, the spirits of Crestwood manifested before Rachel. Agnes Hale, her ethereal form exuding both sorrow and relief, stood at the forefront. The other specters, faces etched with the pain of injustice, surrounded her like a silent congregation. In a moment of spectral communion, Rachel felt the weight of their collective anguish, a shared narrative of betrayal and suffering. The spirits, tethered to the village by the injustices of the past, whispered their gratitude as the ritual worked its magic. The wind, once laden with sorrow, now carried with it a sense of release, and the village of Crestwood exhaled centuries of repressed agony. As dawn painted the sky in hues of pink and gold, Rachel stood on the outskirts of the village, the weight of the paranormal odyssey lifting from her shoulders. Crestwood, now free from the shackles of its haunted history, appeared bathed in a newfound serenity. The whispers in the wind, once filled with the echoes of anguish, were replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant calls of awakening birds. Rachel left Crestwood, her heart carrying the stories of the spirits who found peace through her intervention. The village, now free from the specter of its haunted past, continued its existence in tranquil obscurity. Yet, the whispers in the wind lingered in Rachel's memory, a reminder that the line between the living and the dead is often blurred, and the echoes of injustice can find solace through the courage of those willing to unearth the untold tales that linger in the shadows. Nestled in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, the village of Dunhaven exuded an air of ancient mystique. Sarah Lawson, a photographer seeking inspiration for her next project, chose an old stone cottage on the outskirts of the village as her temporary sanctuary. Little did she know that the mirrors within the cottage held the key to a macabre tapestry of events that would unravel before her very eyes. The cottage, known as Ravenscroft Retreat, had been in the Lawson family for generations. As Sarah settled in, she discovered a peculiar mirror in the attic, its ornate frame bearing symbols that seemed to dance in the candlelight. The mirror, passed down through the ages, held a silent secret, a reflection of a darkness that transcended time. One stormy night, drawn by an inexplicable force, Sarah found herself standing before the mysterious mirror. As she gazed into its depths, the room around her seemed to blur, and the reflection staring back at her held a haunting familiarity that sent shivers down her spine. The mirror, a portal to the past, revealed the life of Eleanor Lawson, Sarah's long-forgotten ancestor. Eleanor, a young woman living in Dunhaven during the 17th century, was accused of witchcraft in a time when superstitions cast a sinister shadow over the village. The mirror bore witness to Eleanor's trial, her anguished protests drowned out by the fervor of a frightened community. The mirror whispered the injustice of her conviction and the curse she cast upon those who condemned her. Night after night, Sarah found herself drawn into the mirror's reflections, living Eleanor's life in a spectral dance between past and present. The line between the two eras blurred, and the mirror became a portal to a world where the echoes of a centuries-old tragedy reverberated with an unsettling resonance. As Sarah delved deeper into Eleanor's story, she discovered a series of mysterious deaths that plagued Dunhaven during Eleanor's time. Each victim, accused of witchcraft or connected to the trial, met a gruesome end. The mirror, an unwitting witness to the malevolence that seeped through the village, reflected the torment that bound Sarah to her ancestors' fate. Haunted by the spectral occurrences, Sarah sought answers within the village archives and historical records. The unraveling tale painted a chilling picture of a curse that lingered through generations, a malevolent force seeking retribution for the sins of the past. The mirror, a conduit for the supernatural, seemed to draw Sarah into a web of darkness that refused to be ignored. Driven by an inexorable need to break the curse, Sarah turned to the village's elders, who reluctantly revealed a ritual that could sever the ties between the living and the vengeful spirits. The ritual required Sarah to confront the mirror's reflections and communicate with the lingering souls trapped within its depths. As the village gathered for the ritual, the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. Sarah, standing before the mirror, felt the weight of centuries pressing down on her. The room seemed to pulsate with a spectral presence as the echoes of Eleanor's anguish filled the space. With a trembling voice, Sarah addressed the spirits, acknowledging the injustices of the past and expressing her intent to break the curse that bound them. The mirror, once a silent witness to tragedy, shimmered with an ethereal glow as if acknowledging the plea for redemption. In that moment of spectral communion, the room fell into an eerie silence. The mirror's reflections shifted, revealing the tortured souls of Dunhaven's past. Sarah felt a surge of energy coursing through her, a collective release as the vengeful spirits found solace in her willingness to break the cycle of suffering. As the ritual concluded, the mirror's glow faded, leaving Sarah standing in the silent aftermath of a supernatural odyssey. The village of Dunhaven, now free from the curse that gripped it for centuries, embraced a newfound tranquility. The storm outside subsided, and the echoes of the past dissolved into the misty highland air. Sarah, forever changed by the spectral journey, left Ravenscroft Retreat with a sense of closure that transcended time. Dunhaven, unaware of the supernatural forces that had gripped its history, continued its existence with an air of serene oblivion. Yet, the mirror's reflections lingered in Sarah's memory, a testament to the thin veil between the living and the dead, and the power of redemption that can be found within the echoes of the past. In the quaint village of Ashford, nestled between rolling hills and ancient woods, lived Emma Hastings, a talented clockmaker known for her intricate timepieces. Seeking a quiet escape from the bustling city life, Emma settled into a charming cottage with a forgotten history. Little did she suspect that the rhythmic ticking of her clocks would awaken a chilling tale that had been locked away for generations. Emma's cottage, adorned with gears and pendulums, echoed with the comforting sound of ticking clocks. One peculiar grandfather clock, passed down through the village for centuries, held a secret compartment that had eluded the curious gazes of many. As Emma delicately restored the clock, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber containing a series of letters, each sealed with an ornate wax emblem. The letters, written by a mysterious figure named Samuel Blackwood, unraveled a tale of forbidden love and a clandestine affair that transpired during the Victorian era. Samuel, a clockmaker like Emma, had fallen for Eliza, a woman from a prominent family with whom he shared a forbidden passion. The letters spoke of stolen moments and the desperate attempts to keep their love hidden from the judgmental eyes of society. As Emma immersed herself in Samuel's heartfelt confessions, the once still air of the cottage seemed to quiver with the weight of untold secrets. Shadows danced on the walls, and the ticking of the clocks took on an otherworldly cadence. Emma, unwittingly entwined in Samuel's tale, felt the echoes of a love that had defied the rigid constraints of Victorian society. The more Emma delved into the letters, the more the clocks in her cottage seemed to synchronize with an invisible pulse. Each tick and talk resonated with the heartbeat of Samuel's tormented soul, as if the passage of time had fused the two timelines into a haunting symphony. Night after night, Emma found herself transported through the ethereal veil, experiencing fragments of Samuel and Eliza's forbidden romance. The cottage transformed into a canvas where their love unfolded, and Emma, a silent spectator, witnessed the clandestine meetings and stolen glances that defied the suffocating norms of their era. Haunted by the spectral echoes of the past, Emma sought answers in Ashford's historical records. The village archives unveiled a tragic chapter in its history. Samuel and Eliza, torn apart by the cruel hands of fate, faced persecution from a society unwilling to accept their love. The clock tower, a silent witness to their anguish, had absorbed the residual energy of their forbidden passion. Driven by an unspoken connection with Samuel and Eliza, Emma uncovered a series of symbols hidden within the grandfather clock, an intricate code that hinted at a ritual to release the lingering spirits from their eternal torment. The village elders, wary of the supernatural forces at play, reluctantly guided Emma through the steps of the ancient ceremony. As Emma initiated the ritual, the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. The clocks in her cottage chimed in unison, their ticking reaching a crescendo that echoed through the village. The grandfather clock, its hidden compartment exposed, seemed to hum with a spectral resonance, as if the spirits of Samuel and Eliza were awakening from a timeless slumber. In the climactic moment of the ritual, Emma felt a surge of ethereal energy enveloping her. The cottage trembled as the boundaries between past and present dissolved, and the spirits of Samuel and Eliza manifested before her. Their ghostly figures, bound by the shackles of centuries-old tragedy, bore expressions of longing and gratitude. With a final chiming of the clocks, Emma felt the release of spectral energy, as if the hands of time had finally unraveled the threads of Samuel and Eliza's haunted love. The cottage fell silent, and the shadows that once danced with the echoes of the past retreated to the corners, leaving Emma in the stillness of the present. As dawn broke over Ashford, Emma emerged from her cottage, the weight of the supernatural odyssey lifted from her shoulders. The village, unaware of the spectral drama that unfolded in its midst, continued its existence with an air of tranquil oblivion. Yet, Emma carried the indelible mark of a time-traveling love story, a testament to the enduring power of passion that transcends the constraints of societal norms and echoes through the hands of time.